Well, as we've been reporting, it finally happened. The Reserve Bank has lifted interest rates for the first time in more than a decade. And the move has put pressure on mortgage holders as well as the Prime Minister and his team.
The last time there was a rate hike during an election campaign was when John Howard was in charge and the coalition went on to lose. Federal Treasurer Josh Frydenberg joins us now. Morning to you. So,
good morning.
Inflation's already higher than what your budget predicted. The RBA said there wouldn't be any rises until 2024. Now it's announced one hike and it says there'll be more. Do Australians have a right to be frustrated?
Well, what we saw yesterday from the Reserve Bank was that monetary policy, which is what they're responsible for, has started to normalise, just as fiscal policy, which the government is responsible for, has also started to normalise as we come out of this pandemic and we end those emergency economic supports. It's important for people to understand that the rest of the world has seen their central banks move in the same way that the Australian central bank has. In the United States, they've lifted the cash rate by 25 basis points. In the United Kingdom by 65 basis points, in Canada by 75 basis points, and in New Zealand by 125 basis points. So it was completely unreasonable to expect that that emergency level cash rate would stay in place indefinitely, and in fact many people were expecting yesterday's announcement.
Is there any good news here, Treasurer? I mean, you've had a lot of stimulus going into the economy to get us through the COVID pandemic. Obviously that is not going to be a good thing going forward. More stimulus in the economy, not good with rising rates and inflation. Is there an upside here?
Well, Michael, to be very clear, Treasury were asked at the budget estimates, did they think that that extra cost of living relief that we provided in the budget would have a material impact on inflation? They said no. In fact, the halving of the fuel excise will reduce inflation by about 1/4 percentage point. What we did see from the Reserve Bank yesterday is that they're expecting the unemployment rate to fall even further from the 4% it is today to 3.5%. That is good news for the economy. They pointed out that our economy is strong and resilient, and we saw the International Monetary Fund only in recent days actually upgrade Australia's economic growth outlook while downgrading other countries' economic growth outlook. And we've got a leader of the opposition who can't tell you the cash rate and therefore can't manage the consequences of it. We, on the other hand, are steering the economy through a very difficult time, and we are delivering a lower unemployment rate, higher growth, and what the Reserve Bank said yesterday is a pickup in wages.
Yeah, but Josh, do you think people will see that out in the electorate? You know, they have a huge rise in everything they're buying, and then they have an interest rate rise. And you guys are sitting there saying, it's not us, it's all this other stuff. Do you think that'll wash?
Well, Nat, I think what people saw on budget night was that the government was responding to those real challenges that people are experiencing. So the halving of the fuel excise will see a couple with 2 cars that fill up once a week $30 better off. The $250 payments to millions of pensioners, veterans, carers and others on income support made its way into people's pockets just over the course of the last week. And when someone on $50, $60, $70, $80 or $90,000 puts in their tax return from the 1st of July, they will get $1,500 in their pocket as a result of the government's low and middle income tax offset. So we're taking practical, real steps to support Australians at their time of need. The public understand that we've just gone through the biggest economic shock since the Great Depression. They look at the events in the Ukraine, the terrible events that are occurring in Europe, and they can see that the commodity prices are increasing. They can see that fuel prices are increasing. They're international factors that are driving impacts here at home. So it's a complicated picture. It's a global picture, but there is good news for our economy because we are having a better recovery and we are seeing lower inflation than many other countries in the world.
Treasurer, in any circumstance, any economic circumstance, it's the pensioners who always feel squeezed. I mean,
yes.
You've got, you know, obviously anyone with a mortgage is going to worry about a rate rise. There'll be more of them to come, but it's small for now. It's the pensioners who get left behind at the moment. They feel every single cost of living pressure on them. What are they going to be given going forward if you win government?
Well, there's two things. Firstly, there's the indexation, which is linked to what is happening with prices, and that saw somebody who's on a single pension get more than $20 extra a fortnight, and that was a decision in the last 2 months. We've also seen, in terms of the budget, those $250 payments that are making their way into people's pockets. We're making changes as well as around deeming rates and others, which will help pensioners. And there's a number of steps that we're taking to support self-funded retirees who are eligible for the concession card. We've made medicines cheaper and more affordable. We've made additional announcements during the campaign on top of what we announced in the budget, all of which are going to help people who need that help. So we're very much listening, we're very much acting, and we very much understand the challenges that households and particularly pensioners are facing.
Okay, before we let you go, Josh, we have to talk about you going viral. You are a TikTok sensation. It is peak campaign. How on earth did this come about? And do you have any regrets here?
Which one are you showing? Because I had one with the... I can't see it on screen.
This is the dancing one with the young woman in the foyer, I think. So yeah,
that was in a local cafe. You know, TikTok's the new sensation. Things happen in the campaign that probably wouldn't normally happen on a day-to-day basis. But you know, I was happy to oblige, and just as I was happy to oblige when I caught up with a great Western Bulldogs footballer, and he was making a joke about my hair, and I was making a joke about his mullet, and that also went on TikTok, and I think it had more than 60,000 views. So, you know, you just go with the flow with these things.
Oh, well, the family would be happy that you called Josh Frydenberg, so congratulations.
All right, Trish. Thanks for your time today.
Well, it's the biggest